Okay, so this video is going to be on titles, scrolling credits, and export. You're going to go ahead and add in a sequence. You can pick widescreen or standard. You can add in black video that will play into the timeline. You can manipulate it however you want. Remember to always do a window workspace reset if needed. Move your cursor to the beginning of the footage, click the T in the Tools panel, click and drag a large square in the right place, and go ahead and begin typing it. Remember, it's the last way that you set text. Then in the Effects panel, you're going to go ahead and twirl down all the different effects for the text, and you can edit it as much as you want. Just make sure that it's highlighted when you do those edits so that you can see them editing. Click the arrow tool and click off, and you can see that you have those texts there. You can move it. You can increase the size with scale. You can affect the opacity. Just hover over, click and drag when the cursor changes into the hand with two arrows. You can also do a more advanced version of this, which is keyframing. You're able to build graphics and motion completely within Premiere. So now is the time that you know the basics, you can start doing that. You're going to click it to the point where you want it to finish. Turn on the stopwatch, and it will add in a keyframe. Move it to the beginning, change the time on the stopwatch, and it edits it again. We'll do that again. So I'm going to turn on the stopwatch. You'll notice it puts in a keyframe. I'm going to move it further down. Click the keyframe. It puts in a keyframe. These are stamping a position at a given point in time with a given variable. You can see this subtle change that we have. You keep adjusting this, manipulating it in whatever way makes sense for you. You can click on it and key in it directly or hover over and edit it. I like the live edits personally, so that's what I tend to do. I find it's just a more creative way to work. So we can see that simple edit with the play. I'm going to move the cursor to the front of the screen. Again, hit the stopwatch. Go to the end, tap a keyframe to plug it in. Now I've got the opacity scale. You're going to go into the effects panel, and you're going to type in blur. There's a bunch of different blurs that come up. They're all interesting. They all do something slightly different. Try them each out, see what you like. Drag and drop them onto the box. Then, when you have that clicked on, you're going to go over into the effects panel, and you'll see beneath motion and everything at the bottom is where it's located. You can also twirl up all the other panels in the effects panel just to tidy it up so it's easier to see the blur. And then you're going to go ahead and add in keyframes like we have before. You can move the keyframes later. So on this one, I have set an opacity before I did the keyframe. So I'm putting in the keyframe when it's not completely gone, because you can always drag and drop it later. Then it's starting to look like more of an actual edited title. And you can mess around with it, do whatever comes to mind. They can rotate, they can fly in from the side of the screen, but this is graphics inclusive, so start doing some graphic and title work. You can expand this out. Click on the type tool. This time we're going to do rolling credits. So I'm going to click and drag a square, however width I want. Type in What I recommend doing here is typing something in Google Docs or Grammarly and then placing it into here. And I do like Grammarly. I don't care if people say they don't like it. I love it. Over on the left-hand side is going to be your text editor. You can expand this up. You're going to click off of it. Now notice on the right-hand side, this effects panel here, you need to get this open so you can see all the different text icons. But notice there's no rolling until you click off, and then you can click on roll once you've clicked off. And then it scrolls through. That's it. Easy peasy. You can also change the time remapping of this just by clicking and dragging the box. It will then slow down. This is a much nicer pace. It's okay to do it slow because you're probably not going to have that long of credits at this point in time. And you can shorten it to have it zip up. But that feels very novice to me to have it move so fast. Again, your aesthetics. I'm going to drag and clip my document here. I'm going to tap I for in point, go to the end, tap O for out point, ready to export at this point in time. File, export, media. There's multiple codecs you can use. We're going to use QuickTime with an Apple ProRes with audio. You can see that here. Then I'm going to double click on the blue. This is where you get to name what your exported file is going to be named at. My keyboard is broken and not letting me do capitals or special characters, so pardon the poor typing that I'm doing. Pay attention to where you're sending it. Like on the tutorials, I always send them to the desktop just because it's so easy, but you're welcome to send it wherever makes sense to you. And then this will be at a varying point in time. If your computer's running slower, show me and tell me though, because if you're getting a 2-hour time, I need to know that ahead of time. And that's it. You've exported your video, and that's how you do titles, rolling credits, and an export. Make sure that you also save as after this, because sometimes you forget to edit the final edits and you go back to check it a few months later and it's missing. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.